I just got a brand new set of tubes for my Blackstar Artisan 30 amp, and I decided I would do a little comparison between the new tubes, which are JJ's, and the old tubes, which are just the stock configuration. So the EF86 here is an Electro Harmonics. These two 12AX7s are Sovtechs. This one is a TAD. Those are all what came in the amp when I got it a couple years ago. I haven't changed them since. Power tubes are Electro Harmonics EL84s. They're not the ones that came in the amp when I bought it, but they're the same thing as what came in it. And then this is actually the new rectifier tube, the JJ, that I just bought. The reason I have that in there is because my old one, the Sovtech that came in it, went out on me. So that's why I decided to get a new set of tubes in the first place, because this Sovtech went out and it was blowing HT fuses. I'm gonna try it out with just the stock setup, except for the fact that the rectifier tube swapped out. And then the JJs, I went with full tube rekit from eurotubes.com, and it's got the regular 5AR, or whatever you call it, GZ34 or 5AR4, whatever it is, rectifier tube. And for the power tubes, I decided I would try a quad of EL844s. These are supposed to reduce the amount of headroom that the amp has, so you can get power amp distortion at lower volumes. I guess we'll try that out and see what kind of difference that makes. And then for the preamp, I went with just the regular EF86 for V1, 2 high gain 12AX7s, and 1 balanced 12AX7 for the phase inverter. So we'll try that out and see what kind of difference those make. Here is how I have the settings. I realize it's not going to show up on this video very well, but basically I'm plugged into the high gain input of channel 2. I have the gain turned all the way up. I have the bass, or no, the voice on the warm setting. The bass is at about, I'd say, 2 o'clock or so. Mid is right at about 12 o'clock, maybe a little bit less. Treble's right at about 12 o'clock. And the volume's just kind of on a fairly low setting. I don't know. I'd say it's at about, I don't know, 8 o'clock, something like that, 7:30. Low enough that it's not blowing the roof off. 10 watts on the power setting instead of the 30. And so that's how I've got channel 2 set up. I'll switch over to channel 1 part way through, and that will be set up with the bass shape all the way clockwise. So position 5 on the bass shape switch. On the tone pot, I'll be probably right at about 11, 10, somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock, something like that. And then the volume, again, just somewhere low enough that it's not blowing my ears out. So, and I'll go into the high gain setting there as well when I switch over. So that's kind of how I have it set up. Stock tube configuration. I realize having the amp sitting out on a chair instead of bolted on the back of the cabinet's probably going to have an effect on the tone of it a little bit, but I'm too lazy to put it back on and then take it back off again. Over to channel 1. Okay, so here's the new tubes laying out there, ready to go in, and the old ones laying there, ready to get retired. So start with the 806. Camera work might be a little shaky on this part. Work that bad boy in. I'm wearing these fancy gloves because I read somewhere that the oil on your hands shouldn't get on your tubes, or else I don't know what the effect is, but I figured, hey, it won't hurt me to put these gloves on, so I threw them on just in case. I don't know if it's true or not, but either way. So these two are the high gain 12AX7s that I'm putting in now. Or ECC83s or whatever name you want to use. Here's the balanced one for the phase inverter spot. Okay, and then the EL844s. I've read some people say that they suspect that these 844s are just like a substandard EL84 that wasn't up to spec, so they labeled them different and tried to rebrand, sell them under the low headroom kind of guys. But looking at the tube, it looks like it's a totally different tube. I don't have a JJ EL84 here to compare it to, so I guess the best I can do right now is compare it to this Electro Harmonics, and obviously they look pretty different. It's kind of out of focus, but I guess that might have something to do with the fact that they're two different brands, so I don't know why that one won't focus. But at any rate, they do look like a different tube to me, so I don't know. I'm no tube expert. I would never pretend to be. Most people who pretend to be aren't, so let's see. Let's throw those bad boys in, and we'll see how they sound, because that's all that really matters anyway, I guess. Who cares what they look like? Okay. Pretty maids all in a row. Last one. The rectifier tube's already in because my old one was shot. So that was the first one I changed. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to snap those springs over the top and warm this bad boy up and see if it sounds any different. Here it is with the JJs in there. The settings are all the same as they were before. Starting channel 2. And let's see if we get lower headroom and any higher gain with the EL844s and the high gain preamp tubes that we threw in there. It actually sounds louder right away is what I would guess, but sounds louder, and it does sound like there's a little more break up there. I don't know if you could say that that's because of the power tubes or the preamp tubes or both or whatever it is. I guess I believe it. It is higher gain. Let's see what channel 1 sounds like. Well, I don't know. I don't play the first channel that often, so I'm not as used to it, but it also seems louder to me. And I don't know. I don't know what it'll sound like on the video, but it sounds a little punchier. I don't know. It's hard to explain tone with words, but